Welcome to our resume strategy session. This is going to be a very, very important session that will change the career or the direction of your career, guys. This session will I try to reveal as much as possible that I can, but it all comes down to, first of all, understanding what a resume should look like, what a resume should be. Because as I coach more people, I realized people do not understand the mechanics behind the stories, behind resumes. And this is what you need to learn, especially in this session, to understand how you should think about your resume. Because, first of all, before writing your resume, you understand how you think about your resume. And that's the most important part. Because if you guys are here, you are aiming for 100K. And by aiming for 100K, I don't mean you already know nothing and now all of a sudden you make 100K. You need to have some baseline. You need to have some basics. You need to have at least some skill set, a PhD, a master's. You need to be able to show that you have proof of a skill for at least a few years, 1 year, 2 year, whatever. You cannot be so simple or fully on a skill to be able to use my techniques and the courses here. But if you have some baseline here, you will learn to promote yourself and present yourself perfectly so you can access to the hidden job market opportunities that is out there and will help you get there. Because I always talk about this in my courses and in the lesson, especially in the mastermind. You guys learn about networking. So it's not about sending resume and getting results. Even you have a perfect resume, you won't even get a result because nobody's going to see your resume. It's all about networking and building a network as we teach you. But once you build that network and you have people that you can reach out to send your resume, then it's all about resume. At that point, resume matters because once you build that network and find those people to start talking to, then it's about resume that will open the doors for you. And that's actually, I always use an analogy that it's a soccer game. Okay, you play, you play, you play, you dribble, you pass the ball, you get to the opponent side around the net, and now you want to shoot. That shoot is your resume. So you have to do a lot of work beforehand to get there. And when you want to shoot, this is very important because you want to shoot for the best. You want to shoot your best. You put your best foot forward and make sure that you hit the net and make a goal. So that's very important, and we're gonna talk about it. So why 98% of resumes fail? This is something very important. A lot of people misunderstand. So first thing first is about ATS, right? A lot of resumes are not actually good enough to be able to pass ATS, and we have covered that in the day one HR secrets, which is available to all of you if you level up, or some days it's available in the free community. So my advice to you is to just go to classroom and find the HR secrets. Is 2 hours video. I show you everything about backend, how the backend works, what does the backend look like when you submit your application, where do they go, what happens to them, who sees them. So that's an understanding. Okay, the next thing is the strategy. A lot of your resumes don't have a strategy. You just put words, you know, and that's the biggest mistake most people making here. And because from time to time nowadays in the mastermind, we collect all the resumes and we go through it. And this is actually, this session is born out of the last resume review that we did, and I realized there's still people getting it wrong. I have so many courses about resume. We teach exactly what to do, what to write, how to do it, and then people go do it. We do another session. We talk about resume. We fix it for them. Then we share it with others. Then they go through it again. Then they come again. They still have a problem with the resume. And when you look at it in details, you understand that most of these problems is because you just start with what you've been given and try to fix a wrong resume moving forward. And I always tell it's like buying an old house and trying to remodel it to have a perfect house. It is really hard, right? It's not impossible, it's really hard, because the moment you touch somewhere, something else happened unexpectedly which you didn't expect. So it's always sometimes good to start from scratch, right? Scrap your resume, start from scratch by the details and the techniques that I teach you today. It's very important. Okay. So, because I understand that most of you are immigrants, and if you're an immigrant, you come from a lot of experience and talent and potential. But when you look at your resume is a bunch of words that you think that you've done. It's sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with you've done with your experiences, but you put a lot of words just to fill it, just to have a resume, because you've heard at some point that hey, resume is important, so let's have a resume. Okay, so you think that resume is important, and then you came up with some sort of document, but you don't understand that document is supposed to be a sales letter. Okay, take note here. That resume, that document is not a piece of history. A lot of people look at the resume as if it's a history book. It's not a history. You try to put all of your stuff, all of your skill set, all of the stuff that you learn in your life into that piece of paper, and that piece of paper is your only chance to open any door, and you treat it that way. It's like I show up to this meeting with you guys without any PowerPoint, without even any presentations. How would you feel? Or if I show up to your call and my presentation is nothing, imagine there's two words here, you can't even follow. So that is it. That your resume, the piece, you have one chance on that piece of paper to explain yourself to the other side, which is a recruiter, a manager, or whoever company that you want to work for. You have a chance to showcase to them that hey, you are a great person to work for them. And you don't pay enough attention to that piece of paper, which is for now your gun, your marketing tool, right? That is the only thing that you have to convince the other side that you're a good person. But and you take it lightly, right? So by end of this session, I want to talk about a few very important points. We're not going to review any resumes today of yours. That is for other sessions or mastermind. Usually, even a mastermind, we don't offer that because it takes a lot of time of us. But here we give you the structure so you understand the fatal flaws in your current resume. A lot of you have fatal flaws in your resume, you don't even pay attention. Okay? Today, you will get unshakable clarity that you need to understand how top tier recruiters are looking at resumes. Then you can position yourself for the role that you deserve. It's either it's 100K, for a lot of you it's 200K. For some people it's 300K. So it's not always 100K, guys. It depends on your current level. Whatever your current level is, you start there. Sometimes you go to 200, sometimes you go to 300. We have had that options. If you go to members win, in the members win you can see the interviews that we had with members. Some members came to us making already 120, 30, 150, and they simply wanted to go higher. We teach you that, but this session, this is focused on resume, so we're only covering resume for now, which is very important. Even if you want to go up the level, you need to understand the job description, you need to understand what you're doing, right? So this is not about minor tweaks, because if you go out there and attend any resume classes, they will tell you, okay, put this here and then put that here, put this keyword. We're not talking about minor tweaks here. Today we're talking about a paradigm shift, a new understanding of the whole picture, a shift that moves you from being an applicant to an irresistible asset. Because at the end of the day, when you understand sales and marketing, you will understand that you are a piece of asset, right? If you think you're an asset already, give me a thumbs up. Okay, give me a thumbs up, put like, and tell me you're an asset. If you think you're an asset, now is the time to showcase that. Now is the time to show the world that, hey, I'm an asset. Talk to me. This is what we're going to do with our resume. So from now on, I want you to take note. From now on, you don't look at your resume, as a piece of paper. It's a piece of a marketing tool, it's your most important marketing asset. And you treat it as a marketing asset moving forward. Okay, marketing. So a little bit about me, if you don't know me, or if it's the first time you're attending me. My name is Alex Amir. I've been in HR ecosystem for at least 10 years now. And Workday, if you're familiar with Workday was before Workday, the only ERP in the world was SAP. And then Workday came over, founded by the founder of the Oracle. And then it took over SAP by a lot. It's a cloud base. All the huge companies in the world went to Workday. When we started on Workday, I started in Canada, then I moved to US. But in Canada, I was the second person who was able to do this stuff for finance Workday at the time for PwC, because we were actually the first generation implementing Workday for huge companies. So at the time, we were implementing Workday, which is a human resource and financial tools for the huge companies. You must have at least 1,000 employee to be able to use this ERP. If you're a small company, you don't use Workday. You use ADP or other sort of whatever. There are so many tools out there, but Workday is the biggest one and the best one. And most of Fortune 500, Amazon, Netflix, you name it, Walmart, all these companies are using Workday. And I've been on very, very important projects across US, Canada, and Europe implementing Workday. So I know it inside and out. We have been designing, when we implement Workday, we design the systems, we design recruitment system, a total reward system, benefit system, different HR modules that we have. So all of that, I've seen it, the data. I've probably transferred more than a few millions resume in my career, because when data moves from one system to the other system, it's implementers. And when we work with huge companies that I did, uh, we had to move data from their old legacy system to their new Workday system. And I was the data guy, I was the data conversion lead for many projects. So I was responsible to bringing all this data, human resource and finance, from different systems. And one of the benefits of doing this, I was having access to so many winning resumes, right? The resumes of the CEOs, resumes of the regular employees, resumes of the managers, directors. And when I was looking, I was learning, I was talking to recruiters all the time. We were having different sessions about all of these. And that's why my program works 100% for people who are committed, because they come learn the secrets, they come understand the whole system, they learn a little bit of HR, they learn how to talk to recruiters in their language, and they understand how on the other side they're looking at their resumes, and they go get jobs, right? Simple. And I'm a great coach. On top of these knowledge that I have, you cannot find a coach like me in the entire world. I can guarantee that, because for you, not I'm not saying I'm better than Tony Robbins, but for you, I'm the best coach, because I've been where you are right now. I've immigrated. Tony Robbins didn't immigrate. I've I've actually had a problem with English. I had low self confidence in speaking. I didn't know how to write a resume like yourself. I didn't know how to approach companies and get those jobs. I was suffering from going and working in low paid jobs and with bad cultures, being treated badly. I remember once I told my manager, "Hey, bro," and he said, "Don't call me bro. I'm not your bro." And I'm like, "What the hell? What kind of culture is this? I don't want to work here." Right? So I've been everywhere that you feel stuck. I've been there, so I understand it. I understand it, and most importantly, I was able to get out of it. And I was able to get out of it. I found the I found the fix. I found the solution to that. And that's why every one of you who come to my program, you go through a transformation, right? You feel that transformation in every little stories, every little courses here and there. So wherever I talk, everybody will find someone who pick up something, because we all are immigrants and we all share similar experiences, similar stories. When it comes to jobs, someone with HR knowledge like this is different than recruiter knowledge, guys. I'm not a recruiter. I never recruited one person. But we design system so thousands of recruiters can use those system to have a better hire and eventually have a better organization. So this is way bigger than being a recruiter. You can go find a coach as a recruiter, perfect. But what I do here, it's coaching at the scale. The reason that I coach at the scale is that I've been learning and working in HR at scale. Okay, so I understand system, and coming from engineering, being to Sharif University and all of the top universities, this that certification here. Though I've attended most of uh, Canadian University of Toronto, McGill, Concordia. I've certification in all of those, and also attended a few of those in US. So these are all created the coach that I am right now, so I can talk to so many aspects for you to fix your problems. Okay? Enough about me. If you need more information about me, go to Day Zero Task B, read my whole story. My whole story is there for you to first learn about me, and second, to introduce yourself, not to only me, to the community, because I might go and read your story there. Other members might go there and read your story, and that is how networking happens. That is how we as a community gets connected to each other and help each other. Okay, this is it. So now we have this environment for you to rebuild your career identity. This environment, the free community especially, and the mastermind that we have, and we are adding a third community. We're all environment for rebuilding your career identity, and because we're done with theory. This is nothing theory here. I always walk the talk. Whatever I teach you, you get to do it right away, and you get to get live feedback. Okay, especially in mastermind, you get to do tasks step by step as my blueprint, and then you get to come to my Thursday meetings, ask those questions, and get feedback instantly, fix it, and then do it again, get feedback, improve. So if you don't get on a cycle of improvement, especially for your resume, guys, for your resume, you need to keep improving and testing it. Okay, because we're looking, if you look at the right side, we are looking at Venn diagram. You got to work on your networking, you got to work on confidence, and you got to work on your identity. These three works together. So first paradigm shift for most of you. If you don't know what networking is, if you're struggling with the low confidence, and if you don't know exactly what your identity is, even if I give you the blueprint for a perfect resume and you create a perfect resume, it's not perfect for you because you don't have an identity yet. You don't have a confidence to talk about your resume yet. You don't have a network to present it yet. So these are all piece of the puzzles that you need to learn step by step. And that is exactly what I mean by we decode the system. Okay? We decode the system and we get attention like that. Because first of all, you need clarity. A lot of you don't have clarity, and you bring the same inclarity or unclarity, I don't know the word, you bring the same confusion to your resume. And guess what? Even if you're given a chance to an interview, When you go sit in that interview and you want to start talking about your resume, you fail because you don't have the right story to tell. Again, everything is about sales and marketing. Now you brand yourself. You talk about yourself as a person who gets wants to get hired. You position yourself as a person who wants to get it, and you need to have a better story. It's all about your story. What is your story? You need to learn to tell your story. So because of these changes that happens in your mind first, you step back, you rewrite everything. That is how we got someone to a director role in 2 months. We got someone to hit 100K dream job, not any job. We don't care about any job. We care about dream job in 30 days. We had 200K stories. We had 300K stories. So these are all because of that. And we're going to dive into the problems that I'm seeing with the resumes. And we call it fatal flaw. Okay. The first one is the history reports. Most of you guys treat your resume like a chronological list of past duties. Raise your hand if you're like that. Do something. I know many people, they go back in their life, they look at what they did, and this is another important thing. The way you look at what you did could be different than the way that market looks at it. Okay. So for a lot of you, having a PhD is enough to put on your resume. You say, I did research on this and that. But you never get into more details than that because you have no idea about what markets needs. So now here's come the picture. If you look at it as a sales document, if from now on you look at this piece of paper is not a piece of history, it's a piece of sales document. It's supposed to promote you the way you are plus the way is needed in the job market. So remember that. I give you an example. If you're a PhD in AI, you can list zillions of job description, right? You can, because AI is new. PhD in AI could be working on so many projects. The way you present your project has to make sense in a way that when the recruiters read it, they will understand that you are built for this role. They understand that the daily activity, or at least the knowledge you have or you gain throughout your PhD research, is somehow relevant or somehow connected to what you're going to apply to. Make sense? Is it easy enough to understand? So this is what I want you to step back. Step back, think about this. Instead of putting something that you simply are doing or simply have been doing for the last 5 years as your PhD that nobody cares in the market. Let's say you've been doing something and the way you explain it doesn't make sense to a recruiter because they are hiring for something totally different. And now you're saying something totally different. How can you fix that? If you understand that this document is going to sell you, this document is going to list the future values and impact that you are going to be expected to do on that job. Make sense? So now, from now on, when you look at it differently, then before creating any resume, you will go and understand the job market. This is the first task that every member that joins Mastermind needs to do. Research on the market, guys. Research on the market. This is the most important thing because even if you have a perfect resume and you don't have a good understanding of the market, and the market, let's say, is changing, you find a great job, let's say you find a great job, perfect scenario, good pay, everything is good. But in 1 year, they will tell you, in 1 year, you will be laid off. Are you happy? No, because simply you didn't do a good research. You didn't know what are the requirements of a job. You didn't know that where is the job is going. You just needed a job, and I know a lot of people are just desperate to get that job. That's why you go on a loop. You get the first job, you're not happy, you rush into the next job, you're not happy, rush into the third job, not happy, rush into the fourth job, not. This is exactly, you want to take yourself out of that loop, which gives you bad jobs over and over again. First of all, you rushed into it. When you rush into something, you don't get the best thing. Second of all, you didn't give yourself enough time to focus, to find what you really want to do in life. Not just want to do. I don't care about what you want to do. I care about what you can do with what is required in the market. So we always think backward, guys, reverse engineering, right? Talking to an engineer, especially the process engineer, industrial engineer. So we always look at things in processes. We want to reverse engineer where we're going. If you're aiming at AI roles, you need to understand AI market with the demand that they are posting about AI jobs out there very well. If you don't have an understanding of the AI jobs, their description, how they are hiring, what they're paying, what are the companies, big players. That's why the first thing I ask my members, find your dream company. If you don't have a dream company, you don't have a destination. If you don't have a destination, you don't have a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, see, I'm reverse engineering it, okay? Listen carefully. If you don't have a strategy, you don't have a story. If you don't have a story, you don't have a piece of paper, piece of marketing, piece of sales document. And if you don't have that, you just have a crappy resume that you think it's good, but it's awful. It's the secret recipe for failure and depression because you don't work backward, you work forward. You start with your what you have and what you've done. And I know for most of immigrants, it never talks because your life is divided into before immigration and after immigration. We understand each other. Maybe a manager who has been immigrant understand you, but the rest of the world, they have no idea what you've been through. They have no idea the difficulties and the hardship that you go through. Give me a like if you've been there. Give me a like if you felt that hardship, right? That hardship is really hard. I get it. I've been there. I was lucky I immigrated 1 year after my immigration, 1 year after my graduation. But I know a lot of people immigrate after 10 years of experience, after 20 years of experience. And now they try to translate what they've been, what they learn into the new uh, industry, in the new market that they enter. Go watch the interview I did with Brian Tracy, guys, how to make money in every market. That is actually talks a lot about sales and marketing, and it's available to all of you in the free community. It gives you a lot of perspective on actually sales and marketing on different markets. So first thing first, I want you to understand about sales and marketing because you are selling yourself on a piece of paper. Remember that. You are selling yourself on a piece of paper. Then, and the whole point of resume, guys, is to get you to the interview. Don't think that resume will get you job. Resume will not get you job. Resume will get you the interview. The way you perform in that interview will get you the job. So that's why I'm telling you, you have to reverse engineer the market. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a story. And then you bring it back. You work backward until now you have a resume that you want to promote yourself on it to potential recruiter, potential hiring managers. Because if your resume is not selling, there's no point in submitting it. The main purpose of your resume is for it to sell you. Okay? Fatal flaw number two, the one size fit all illusion. Okay? By show of hand or give me a like, if you're sending the same resume to every job endlessly, And also give me a like if you have hundreds of resumes sending to hundreds of applications. I think the second one is bigger because I've talked to people that they change their resume every time they want to apply to a role. And this is ridiculous, guys, because you won't find time to apply. If you want to change your resume every time and apply, guess what? You cannot apply enough. You apply one or two or three, even 10. If you think 10 application per day is enough, it's wrong. You need way more than that. So, first of all, we do not want to have same resume and endless apply. That is wrong. We also don't want to have hundreds of resume and changing it every time that we send to people because when they call us, we don't even know which resume we send and what happened, and it's an endless loop of failure and depression. So don't do any of that. The reality, the strategic solution that I give my members, and it worked very well. You need a powerhouse core resume, okay? That you create it based on the market. You don't create it based on yourself. Nobody cares about you, okay? Just between me and you, nobody cares about you. I want you to take notes. Nobody cares about you. People care about their needs and their job description, their companies. Okay, at this stage, they will care about. Now, I'm not saying they never care about you forever. They will care about you once they know you. Okay, so they will start liking you, caring about you once they know you. But on piece of paper, on this piece of paper, I'm just looking. I'm trying to find a piece of paper to show. On a piece of paper. Okay, on a piece of paper, nobody cares about you. On a piece of paper, you need to show that you can solve their problem. And the way you show you solve the problem, you need to understand these fundamentals. You need to understand these basic requirements. And the first thing first, you have one powerhouse core resume that shows that you can solve the dream company. Why we have a dream company? Again, if you forgot, why we have a dream company? So we have a direction. If you don't have a dream company, you don't have a direction. What happens? Fatal flaw number two happens. You keep applying to every job that come out there. I see people, for example, in engineering, they come to me and say, Alex, can I work for you? And I'm like, you said you're an engineer. Why do you want to work for me? We're hiring for sales role. Nothing to do with that. No, I just wanted to, by the time I find that job, I wanted to work for you. I'm like, good luck. I'm not gonna hire you at all now. You're on my blacklist because just want to take advantage of an opportunity that it didn't even want to give you, right? You just want to come here because you're desperate. You come here because you're jobless and you want to take advantage of my system 6 months and then go find another job. Who gives you that job? Nobody in the world give you that job. If you're going to a serious job, yes, you can find a general job and work at a store for 6 months until you find your job. But if you're applying to a serious job for a long-term development, for a long-term working, you need to respect them. You cannot just say, I want to do this, then I want to do that, then I want to do that, I want to do all the works in the world. No. You pick your field, you have precision, you have direction, and you only go toward that. We don't want you to keep changing. The other person came to me and said, okay, I want to be data analyst and at the same time, I want to have my own nail salon. I'm like, okay, if you want to have your own nail salon, go become an entrepreneur, have your nail salon. If you want to be a data analyst, stick to the program, just become a data analyst. You cannot do both at the same time. Maybe you can get the first one, like become data analyst. Once you're good at it, on the side start being entrepreneur, or be entrepreneur first. Once you become good at it, on the side do something else. But you cannot be beginner in two fields and become pro in both fields. That doesn't work in life. Okay, in life, you have to pick one. All of you, You have to pick one. I know when I was creating this slide, I would know. I knew when I show it to you, you would say, okay, but how can I want to go do this and I want to go that. How can I have one resume? Because you need to pick one. And how you pick it, it's based on demand. You need to have an understanding of the market. You need to understand the market. You need to understand where the jobs are going. And we teach that in details. But you can use ChatGPT, guys. Come on. It's not something that you need to be lessened on. You can just simply use ChatGPT to understand the market. Okay. But the way we teach it is different, but you can start somewhere. But first of all, you need to understand the job market, where the jobs are going, how the jobs are changing. And in every field, it's different. So in every field, you need to do your own due diligence. You need to do your own study to understand what's going on in any market. And once you understood that, you can pick one. And by pick one, I mean you pick a role, you pick a department, at least a department. You know where you're going to end up in an organization. You know what is the title you're going to do. Yes, it's okay, I understand. Maybe you pick one title, but there is similar titles around it. That's okay. If you have a power core resume, you can maybe make a little variation, let's say two, three more, like maximum five resume. But they cannot be irrelevant to each other. You cannot have five resume, one in nail, one in data analytics, and the other one in soil engineering. Okay, they have to be related. It can be one can be data scientist, the other one can be data engineer. Okay, but they have to be related to each other. But you need to start with a powerhouse core resume with the intent of solving a problem. How do we know we are solving a problem? By show of hand, tell me if you know the answer. How do we know we are solving a problem? This is $1 million advice right here. You know how you're solving a problem by the job description. Companies in the job description, they tell you what is their problem. Every job description in HR world, why the job description exists. Because in HR, we write down job description, we write down job profiles, we have job classification, job category, we have so many things in job. But job description, okay, is there to tell you what is the problem. So it doesn't tell you the entire problem. The entire problem, you will learn it by networking, which we'll teach. We have taught and networking A to Z perfectly fine. People who come to my program and learn networking, they become a different person because they simply learn networking. And the other person was telling me, I'm having social groups. She has started hiking groups in, I don't know, was it in San Diego or uh, California, or I don't remember. So there was a lot of people coming to me and talking about the results they're getting. They become extrovert. They go out doing different stuff. They uh, make events. They invite. They pick up the phone, call an old friend. Why? Because they simply learn about networking and they get motivated. They get energy. They get extra energy to do extra. So this is why the program will give you clarity first and then the motivation required to go toward that clarity. And the clarity comes from understanding. If you don't, I was talking to another person. He was telling me, I wanted to go for work for this company in AI, and then I want to make $1 million business at the same time. And I'm like, good luck doing all of that. You need to focus. You need to pick one because life is not that easy, guys. I know in imagination it looks easy. You can imagine anything that you want, but getting there, it takes a lot of effort. And you can go back in the community, my first post, you can see how we're building this community to right now 5,000, almost 5,000 members. You can see how hard we're working ever since And this is just a 5,000 member community. There are 100,000 communities out there. There are Elon Musk. Look at Elon Musk, what he's doing. So anything that you want to do in life, you really have to put your focus on. You really have to, especially in the resume writing, especially because you might not understand it, but resume, guys, resume is all about a storytelling. First, you need to understand how to tell a story. And your story, you don't have to lie. You might say, oh, I don't have these, but you have it. You just don't know how to tell that story, because there are so many different ways to tell the same story. And there is a book about it. Whoever's tell the best story wins. So you need to learn how to tell your story so the recruiters like it. That's why my students go to interview, and everybody in that interview are impressed by them. A lot of my members go to interview, they're expecting to get an offer in a few weeks, but at that interview they are being offered with the job offer. Why? Because they have clarity, they know where they're going, they understand the mechanics around it, they understand the needs of those companies, they learn how to talk in their language, they learn how to tell their story to bring them from an underdog to a position that now give them advice on this is what you need to do based on my background, and boom, it's sell, it's sold, like the match is made in heaven. So your job is to match make. And how do you match make? You understand where you're going. If you A lot of you just have a resume, keep applying. You don't have any understanding of the market. You don't have any understanding, because guess what? Even if you get that interview, guys, you will go fail, and that's even worse. I would tell, if you have a bad resume and if you don't get interviews, you are lucky. I repeat, if you have a bad resume and if you don't get interviews, you are lucky. Because the moment you get interview with a bad resume, you go to interview, you fail, you will be more depressed than not having the resume in the first place, not having the interview in the first place, right? These are all connected. This is what I'm trying to tell you. These are all connected. In today's world, these are all connected. So I want to expand on what I was talking about, activity versus impact. Most resumes list task, right? Let's get into more detail so you understand better. A lot of you talk about your duties, not value propositions. Okay? If you're talking about your duties in job, developed software, attended meetings, managed projects, how many of you show me how many of you put I manage projects, I develop software just like that? I know most of 99% of you. So these are called activity. You're not talking about the impact, you're talking about activity. From this session on, you learn that you don't talk about activity, you talk about impact. And I have an example for you. So you need to bring these. I develop software. Okay, I manage projects. What are the impact? How do we put it into impact? We say, I managed 4 projects with 10 stakeholders and improved 20%, reduced cost by 20%, and met deadlines. And see how different it is. So I can just list tasks and duties, or I can talk about the impacts I made through my projects. The person came to me, I'm a PhD, I don't know what to put there. No, you're a PhD. Every little article that you worked on, every little piece of project that you worked on, you can quantify it. You can talk about the tangible and the measurable impact you deliver. You can talk about the return of investment you bring, right? Your resume needs to have numbers, guys. I always tell my members when I look at resume with solid words, it's no good. You need to have a combination of words and numbers, right? You need to show that you have done what you have done was impactful. The resume must be a screaming ROI, return on investment, right? So you need to show that. You need to show to the world that, hey, my resume, these are what the impact I did with my. We care about what you did as a duties, but your duties needs to show the impact. Always put that lens moving forward, looking at your resume. Very, very important. I cannot emphasize this enough. And I give you a formula to do that. Okay. So from now on, you use action verb plus what you did plus quantified results. Every single bullet point on your resume must answer the so what question. Okay. So if you said, I managed a team, ask that question. So what? How did you manage the team? What was the outcome? How big a size of the team was? If you say I developed the software, answer the question, so what? I developed the software, how big the user base was? What was the software used? What was the price? What was the investment on the software? How many coworkers? How many stakeholders? So what? Make sure you talk about the impact. And numbers are universal language of impact. This is golden for immigrants. If you're coming from back home and bring a lot of experience, you can show your impact with numbers. If you talk about a project that you did back home, let's say a dam project, okay, like DAM, I mean the SAT. If you did a project in dam that you cannot explain exactly what you can show it in numbers. Say, hey, this was like 100,000 people working on this project. We saved 2 million whatever dollars, euros, whatever. So you quantify things. You talk about the estimation. And I have an example for you here. Instead of saying I managed social media accounts, this is activity, this is duty. You say I grew social media engagement by 30% in 6 months, resulting in a 15% increase in lead generation. See how different it is? So you use that in every little bullet point that you're putting on your resume from now on. You understand the difference between activity and the impact. Nobody cares about activity, guys. People are doing it's the same thing in the community. You come tell me you're active. Okay, let's look at your activity. Some people are green, 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 perfect. Some people are just one green, 3 weeks after, one green, even not like dark green, it's just slightly green. So you get the point, right? The activity has to show impact. If you think you're active but it's not impactful, it's not good. The activity has to come with impact. And this is the exactly same thing. You put that on that piece of sales letter. This is a sales letter. Your resume is a sales letter. You need to learn sales and marketing. You need to talk about the impact. That's what it sells. Activity doesn't sell. Activity doesn't matter. Everybody can do activity. What kind of activity you did, what exactly you did, how you improved a process, what was the result look like. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about the recruiter's mind, because I always talk about this in my ads, and I tell people that, hey, look at the recruiter's mind, it's very important. Who is excited for this part? This is very important. So in the HR secret video, guys, I show you the ATS. If you don't know what ATS is, a lot of people don't know. It's applicant tracking system. Okay. And simply, it's like a CRM. Okay. In the business and sale world, we have CRM. Most of you are familiar with that. You have a bunch of names and you call them leads, and the purpose is to be in touch with the leads. Okay, so all of you are attending this webinar, you are in our CRM. It's simple. You have email, phone number, contact. Look, that's it. Same thing. Companies, when recruitment departments, when they want to hire, they have something called ATS. It's application tracking system. It can be any system. I'm I know Workday, which is the biggest system for Fortune 500 and big companies. So small companies have different ATS. Any company can have a different ATS, okay? But it doesn't matter because the ATS is just a database. I want you to look at ATS moving forward as a database that stores information. What kind of information it stores? Your name, full number, email, and your resume. Okay? So it's just a database of your resume. There are a lot of conversations about ATS friendly. Now, I know there are many apps out there that helps you to pass the ATS, but the most important piece of information or insider I want to give you, even if your resume passed the ATS, you might not be you might not get invited to interview. Even if your resume passed ATS, you might not even be seen by a recruiter because as I show you in the HR secret, it's a database. Okay? If I give you an Excel file, just an Excel file of a 1 million rows of information, would you be able to go through it? Would you be able to find something if you don't control F? Right? When do you control F in Excel of 1 million rows? When you know a name, when you know a phone number, when you know an email and you want to search for it. But if you don't know what to search for, what do? You cannot, like, it's really random to pick a person out of that 1 million. You have some filters, obviously. Recruiters have some filters to them to filter for these people. So this is all we talk about ATS. So when you want to understand ATS, it's not about if you pass ATS or not. This is like a ridiculous way to put it. If somebody told you this resume passing ATS, that doesn't make sense. That means the person doesn't know anything about ATS. We don't want to pass ATS. We just want to show, because all this is database, guys. You don't pass something. You just go into the ATS. Whatever resume you submit, it will go sit on ATS. Make sense? It's a database. Okay, it's like a database. Everything you submit goes sits there. It's nothing about passing. Nobody passes nothing. The only thing that happens is you get filtered. So the right question is how to properly get filtered on ATS to be shown to the recruiter. How? Let's say example of 1 million rows in Excel. How we can filter these 1 million to get 10 people. What filters to use? This is the right question. How do we get into the right filters of recruiters to show up on ATS? Because you already go to ATS. How to add those filters? The only way to add those filters is to understand the job you're applying to be a good fit for the not the same job, for all the jobs you're applying to. Okay, so from now on, your resume don't pass ATS. Your resume exists in ATS. It sits there. Now, how we increase our chances to show up on the filters? Because this is, and again, this is one way of showing up. If the recruiter is so desperate to go there, pick filters to be able to find some people, and that never happens. I tell you why. That never happens. The recruiter never needs to go there because there are so many people internally and externally reaching out to them before they even have to use their filters. Boom. This is $1 million tip that I just gave it away to you. If you understand it. Raise your hand if you understand it. Give me a thumbs up if you understand it. So no recruiter we need to use those filters in ATS to find a person because a lot of internals and externals already go. Same example. If I know Ali, for example, from this community, okay? If I heard about Ali and now I want to look for Ali, I go to my ATS, use my filter, put Ali, thousands of Ali come up. I put his last name, maybe there's a few, let's say put Ali Malakuti, okay? Maybe there is five Ali Malakuti, and that is exactly it. Like when ATS, there's so many candidates, everybody applies. It's huge, huge data points, right? When we transfer these data, you have no idea how many same names exist in the systems. Okay, so even in US, you put Ali Malakuti, five Ali Malakuti pops up, right? So recruiters will search you and find you in ATS if they know you. How they know you? How they know you? By your networking, by your visibility, by the 7 days challenge that I taught you. That's why it's impactful. That's why you guys go, enjoy, learn a lot, and you end up not leaving us a review. No, I'm kidding. You all writing good reviews. Thank you so much. Keep doing it. You can leave more reviews, guys. If you go through 7 days and 7 times you transform, leave 7 reviews about 7 different courses. It doesn't hurt. It just help more people understand if they need to go to day 2 or day 3, right? So it just help more people. So don't be afraid of writing your reviews on Google or in the community about different courses that you take, because every course will help people differently, right? Especially this course. So from now on, you understand that you need to have a story, you need to have a resume that tell that story, and that story, all of that is helping you get to what is needed by the recruiter, because what is recruiter is doing, trying to solve the company problem on behalf of manager. If you don't understand this part, HR secret. So recruiter is a bridge between you and the manager. The manager eventually hires you. The manager is the person who is going to like you, and the bridge between you and that manager is the recruiter. And the way you prove yourself to a recruiter that you're a real person is by this piece of paper. But if they get to your piece of paper, they filter, not passing, they filter your piece of paper in the ATS. And how they filter you, okay, first thing is the strategies that you use to show up on the filters, but that's very minimal because, again, they won't even find time to filter you because they already have a list of good candidates in front of them who are networking with them. Familiarity, right? Familiarity wins. I always tell you, familiarity wins. And so, and I wanted to tell you how, okay, before I jump to the next topic, let me finish this. So, if you wanted to come up in the ATS searches, again, that's as important, but it's less important because, again, these people find you by networking, or you find them by networking or internal. But if you want to be in the searches, in the filters, in the ATS, one thing is keyword, but another thing is strategic integration. Strategic integration that shows the match. You cannot just use any keyword. I see people use tons of softwares on their resumes. They put whatever softwares they heard on their resumes and they think it's working. No, it's bad. It's not strategic. And I see so many people put a little resume because they think they put a little of a few softwares because they think other softwares they don't know enough. That is not good either. So you need to keep a balance. You need to put the softwares that you know. You also need to put the softwares that you know 50%. You don't have to know it perfectly. Even if you have even if you know it 40%, put it there because you can go learn it. You know the basics. But don't put too much or don't put too little, because those are not strategic. And the strategic comes from how these resumes are fixing the problems. Most important, visual hierarchy. A lot of resumes, guys, and I want to talk about this because I know many of you have this question, and many of you are asking me if you need to have one page resume, 2 page resume, how many pages a resume should be, right? Give me a like if you have this question too. So, how many pages a resume should be, guys? Put it in the chat. Let's get some engagement. Let's understand your knowledge about resumes. How many pages a resume should be? Okay. So I know in the industry they will teach you that a resume should have maximum 2 pages or maximum 1 pages or 2 pages or 3 pages. But in one person says, "How about CV?" Come on, guys. CV is the same as resume. It's just curriculum vitae is probably a European version of resume, so it's just same thing. Uh, so what I want to teach you, resume, guys, nothing to do with the number of pages. If you are a senior, you cannot put your qualifications in 1 page. So you probably need 2 to 3 page or 4 page is a lot, but it's not something that cuts you off. Okay. You probably can tell all the story that you want to tell in 2 to 3 pages. But number of pages is not important. This is what I want to tell you. What is important is the first page. First page is important. So if you've heard in the from the other coaches that resume should be 1 page, they heard about it, but it simply means your first page of resume is important. Why? Because recruiters only spend 6 seconds of your resume before going to the next page, or they don't even go, right? So it doesn't matter how many pages is your resume. What matters is your first page should be so good. And by so good, I will explain it in the next slide. By so good, we mean that it has everything related to the problem that you're going to solve. If you can show that in the first page, you get a chance. If you need 3 pages to explain that, sorry. If you need even 2 pages to explain that, sorry. So this is the reality. All you need to say about solving the problem and proving you're a perfect fit, it happens on the first page. If you need a second page or a third page to expand on it, and if you can get the recruiter to go past your first page, I always say the first page is your vitrine. Okay, when you go to a pastry shop, you don't see all the pastry on vitrine, right? On the window. They put the best on the window. They put the best to capture your attention, to capture your uh, uh, to make you crave. And then you go inside, you will see tons of different variations. This is exactly the same idea. Your first page is your window. They see your first page, they decide if they want to go to second page or not. So don't even think about a number of pages. Put all of your attention in the first page. Make sure the first page is a great, 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 great sales letter. It's a great, great vitrine that attracts their attention and brings them to your world. So you get them on the first, exactly like the ads that you see from me on Instagram. If the first 3 seconds in the ad is first three, if the first 3 seconds is not good, you won't come to my world. So it has to be good. Same idea. If the first page, 6 seconds that is spent to have a glance, like don't think that they have time to go over 1 million resume, guys. Nobody does that. They go to ATS and they do this. Next, do this, next, do this, next. Right? So it's very fast paced. And we also talk about recruiters' psychology a lot. What is their lifestyle? How they look like? What do they do for fun? This is very important because once you know what do they do for fun, you have conversation. You can converse with them. They're gonna start liking you. But this is other stuff we talk about: CCM, cold connection mastery, or networking. But now in the back at the resume conversation, you have 6 seconds to prove to them in the first page that you're a good fit for the role. Nobody cares about what you did again. If you what you did can relate to the role that you're going to apply to, they're gonna like you. They're gonna give you a chance. Okay? So it's not about being beautiful anymore. It says here, it's not about being aesthetic. It's about being a strategic communication. It's all about communication, guys. Okay? So and another problem I see in a lot of resumes, you make it super hard for the reader. You need to give those values instantly. I have some examples to show you today. We're going over time, but if you guys want, I can stay a little bit more and explain these more. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to continue on this, right? I also have to give those mothers gifts today. We have to do a raffle. But there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of topics, right? We cannot cover it in a short time. There's so many things, and these are just a foundation. These are just a paradigm shift that you need to make in your mind. When you make it super hard for the people to read your resume, right? When you make it super hard for them to read your resume, they won't read it. Simple as that. They ha- they don't have to read any resume. They don't have to read your resume. It's just a favor they do to you, and the favor comes from you first. If you make it easy for them, they will look at it. If it's super hard for them, they won't. Okay? So here is the example I put for you. And I changed the names and everything so it stays confidential, but these are real resumes we see in the market. Okay? These are real resumes. What is the problem with this resume? The first thing is too long of a professional highlights. Nobody has time to go over this professional highlight, which is half page, and it's really hard for the person. It's good that they use the keywords. Actually, this is one of the resumes that one of our members have gone through our first interview, fixed it, and this is the second review that we did on it. But still, it's a lot of words in the beginning. We don't want that. Okay? But the keywords is rich in keywords. You see the Java, React, SQL, LLM. This is what you need to do on your resume. You need to put the keywords that comes up on the filters. This is the ATS filtering that I was talking about. So recruiters mainly filter for important uh, keywords that they need to hire you, like React, SQL, LLM, cloud. Like these are important, right? Another problem, uh, you guys don't have a link. You need to have your LinkedIn as a link. So a lot of them watch you online, like gets your resume online. So they want to click, go to your LinkedIn. So make sure you put a link to your LinkedIn and match your LinkedIn to your resume. Very important, right? These days, people less care less about resumes, care more about LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn is your sales letter. Your LinkedIn, your connections, the way you perform business with other people, that shows a lot about you. So very important. Get rid of ing verbs, guy. I see that a lot. A lot of people use ing verbs. Unclear project framing. Okay? You say, especially in this example, there is project experience and there's job after that. It doesn't have a story. The first page, and that's why I say the first page is your value magnet. Okay? The first page is where you're being judged. You're being judged by your first page. People look at your first page, they understand if you know the details or the softwares or the skill set required by the job in your professional headline. Then they validate you based on that. They go to the next step. So eyes, psychology, and then eyes. Okay, read from left to right, top down. You remember that. People read left to right, top down. So you need to make it easy for them to read left to right, top down, and understand your story. If I want to start left to right here and go down, it's too long. I give up, go to the next person. And then I learn about another problem, learn about all these LLM cloud. And then I go down, I see a project, I see project, and then the second project is truncated. The project doesn't speak to the highlight. Okay, red flag. Next. Another problem. Look at the template. Another members have been using this template. We have censored the sensitive information so you don't know the person. We also changed the name. Sahar is not real, but look at that. The instead of focusing on giving attention or giving value in the first page, they are giving it's a lot of empty spaces you see between the background and professional experience, or there is a on the left side you see that the layout of this resume is not something that can land you a job fast, especially in the background that you can see. The background, it doesn't talk to the rest of the resume. Okay, hold on, what happened? Yeah, so what we did, uh, the most important thing here was I didn't put the second page, but when you start going down, you see a confusing career story. Okay, because the person has MBA, has project management, she has MS, like masters. But when you go down to the professional experiences, it doesn't talk to the rest of the story. So, first of all, your career story should match. And I don't mean by match, it has to, you cannot change career. Yeah, definitely you can change career. But the way you conduct your story, it needs to talk about your passion and where you coming from, where you're going from to solve that company problem. And when I say solve that company problem, guys, you don't have to solve every company problem. You can solve a position problem. What I mean, a position is something that is offered out there with the description that you need to go fix it. Okay? So many companies using the same protocol, same positioning for you to apply to. So once you understand what position solve what, you backward. And a lot of these problems in the resumes that I'm seeing is coming from lack of understanding the market. So you need to understand the market. Another problem I see, you call sometimes yourself a leader without giving quantifying results or without a backup story on how you become a leader. If you are a leader, you need to prove on paper that you got to a leadership point. So very important that your resume have a cohesive and compelling narrative which aligns with market demand, remove irrelevant gaps and roles strategically. Okay? So from now on, whenever you have a resume, you look at it as a piece of sales letter that is trying to solve a problem and has a story behind it that solve a problem. Even I always tell, even if you took off 1 year and went to Mexico and had fun there, you can tell a story that you stay away from work because you were a leader with so much on your plate and you needed that time for yourself. Actually, I have a living example of this person. One person in our company back in the days when I was working at PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, one person who was a manager, a director, she took off 1 year, went out and traveled the world. Okay, just had fun. When she came back, instead of feeling down and people telling, "Oh, what is your gap?" She came and gave a speech about how she rebuilt herself after 1 year being away from the company, and she was promoted. This is the power of good companies. When you go to good companies, these things can happen, and it's so normal. She came on a stage, gave a speech in front of 500 people, and it was being uh, broadcasted online as well to like 20,000 people. She was talking about that she was a great leader and she was burned out. She took off 1 year, went and traveled the world, and had pictures of herself in China and Thailand and Japan and everywhere. And then she got promoted because she showed the company, if you're burned out, step away, fix yourself, rebuild yourself, come back with more energy, bring a story. So that's what I'm talking about with the stories. You need to be able to tell stories. And if you don't know how to tell stories, this is the skill you need to learn: storytelling and how to say it. First is to write it and then practice it to say it, which we practice in the Alex Masters. Our weekly classes are for that. Okay? And the uncomfortable truth is that information is not enough. Information alone is not giving you 100K. The gap between knowing and doing is where the most ambitious professional get stuck. You need to start doing, guys. You need to start doing whatever you learn. Otherwise, you won't see results. And that we have all the tools available in this community for you to do. You do, you share, you get feedback. You do, you share, you get feedback. You do, you share, you get feedback from me, from others, and this is how uh, you build something great. Okay, by doing. So I talked about six. Okay, let's. I have two gifts actually for you guys. We're gonna give you a link. We're working on that. We're giving you a link for a few free templates, resume templates that you can start from scratch. Because a lot of you having resumes, those resumes, it's sometimes instead of just trying to fix a bad resume, try to get start from scratch with a something just blank and put add to it. Okay, it's sometimes it works better. If you've been changing your resume for so long, you're still not happy with it, it's time to just tear it down, start from scratch, and add things to it. So we're working on this. It's not completed. What we're going to share it to you all in the classroom. We're going to add the resume templates there for free. I'm going to put a bunch of templates that actually is working, actually is good, with some mock data, so you can start from there. That's one gift to you. The second gift that we have is for mothers, which I'm gonna announce 3 mothers from the pin post in the community. So make sure you put a comment on that and say I'm a mother. And before we go there, uh, if you want to join the mastermind in the free community, we had about 5,000 people. In the mastermind, we're always between 100 to 150 because I want to give attention to my members. And it's not a the permanent place. It's a place that you come with a decision to make 100K. You have 1 to 3 months. After 3 months, nobody's gonna kick you out. If you want to stay, you can stay. But the program is in 3 months. We want you to take you from 1 month to 3 months and to get your 100K job. So if you see those skill set in yourself, but you just lack direction, you can join the mastermind. And we have to interview you. When you join the mastermind, everything changes. You come to a group of 100 professionals who are invested financially and mentally and emotionally to make that transformation. And the transformation happens on many levels, on different levels, on mindset, from what you hear today, on every little details that you need to do with the constant feedback, because you get to do things every day. You get have questions, you bring it to the calls, get answered, go back to the market, test it with recruiter, test it with manager. It's amazing. So if you want to gain exclusive access to these advanced strategies and a network of top performer, which keeps you on a momentum, just by being in that environment in the mastermind, you get momentum because you see 100 other people fighting for their dreams. Like every day they wake up, they care about this community, they go to sleep, they think about their resume, they wake up again. And you can watch the videos on member wins about the transformation that we're building. Everybody is super successful. Even if they haven't got the job yet, they are on the track. If you talk to them, they say we are on the track because it's a high performer environment. And if somebody is not high performer or they don't want to do the task, we're simply not allowed in the uh, mastermind. And if you want to join the mastermind, you need to go to alexcoaching.org and book a call. Simple, right? If you want to join the mastermind, guys, go to alexcoaching.org, book a call, strategy call. It's free if you show up. If you don't show up, there is a penalty. Okay. So if you book a call, make sure to show up. And because you're taking a lot of time and resources of us for being indecisive. If you're confident, if you're a person, I mean by confident, confident in getting a job, confident in doing the task, confident in being professional, at least be professional. Okay. If you want to book a call, if you do book a call, you need to show up on the call. And that is how we are building this community, growing this community. All the earnings from mastermind, guys, goes to our advertising so we can attract more people to free community and help more people. This is the strategy. In the free community, our aim is to expand free community to 10,000 people, help more people, give away all these secrets. But the way to do that, we have a mastermind, we give more coaching to people, and all the earnings will be advertised to attract more people to the free community. It's a perfect business model, and it's a model that help us give give to community, and we all grow together. And we always have limited spots to whoever we allow in the mastermind. So the earlier you join, the better, because a lot of people, guys, wanted to join mastermind, what we disqualified them. You cannot just simply join mastermind because you have the funds or the budget. No, it's not about that. It's about commitment. Because if you really want to get the like pay the real price for this mastermind, it's $100,000. Because you get the $100,000 job one time, and you can keep repeating it throughout your career, make more, go up the ladder, make 200K, make 300K. You get all the secrets, you get all the power and energy that you need, you get all the accountability partners you need. Everything will change in your life. So we don't charge you $100,000 because it's not about money, it's about person. We invest in you. When you join mastermind, we decide to give you our time, we decide to give you our next level coaching, and we decide to give you stuff that we cannot give to random people. We cannot give to free zone because we don't control who comes there, right? We cannot control, we cannot verify people in the free zone, and we cannot give a lot of insiders, right? Because we have seen a lot of people, not you, God forbidden, some people might misuse those information. So we cannot give it to all, but when you come to mastermind, you go through a process and we verify you and we make sure we're a real person. And almost the outcome is almost 100% guaranteed because you bring us your commitment and we give you 100K, $100,000 of value for almost free. Okay. So that's that. If you want, book your discovery call on alexcoaching.org. First three people, just first three people who book the call, I have a special bonus for them. Out of this call, first three people who book a call, and we have limited calls, guys. Is we have two mentors and and myself. So I'm not taking all the calls. Sometimes I do. It depends. It's totally random when you book a call. But book your call. Make sure to meet with me or my mentors, and we go from there because we want the best out of this program for you, which is your 100K transformation, your 100K breakthrough. And it's not honestly too far from you. Making 100K is not that big of a deal anymore. Yes, maybe 15 years ago it was hard, but nowadays, just when the entry in Canada is 70K and entry in US is 85K, making 100K shouldn't sound too hard or too uh, difficult. So, okay, let me share my screen on the community and see the beautiful mothers. Okay, and when we go to comments, all the mothers are supposed to be on this call, right? So, perfect, perfect. They are commenting here. They are commenting. Okay, how do we pick one? How do we pick one? It's interesting. It's I never thought about this part. How do I pick one? If the mothers are on the call, what if what if okay, what if we go just pick you on the chat, right? Let's do that. Let's pick you in the chat because that's easier because you're supposed to be on the call, right? If you want to get those gift cards. These are going to be Starbucks gift card, and the beautiful part is that I personally I'm going to a Starbucks. These are the gift cards, guys. These are the past gift cards. Okay, I personally go to a gift card, Starbucks, and I usually go to the Starbucks that I recorded the second video, like the LinkedIn video. I did it at a Starbucks. It's one of like the best Starbucks in America. It's a huge Starbucks, and I did that course there. And the idea of giving away a Starbucks gift card came from that session, right? It really came from that session because I thought if I give you a Starbucks gift card, you get to drink coffee and work hard, right? Work in the community, work hard to get your dreams. Because if you haven't done the free challenge, go to the classroom and start the free challenge, watch the videos, do the task, and you will understand what I talk about. So I'm gonna personally go to the Starbucks, buy your gift cards with your name, and I'm gonna document it. So I'm gonna make a video out of it, and I'm gonna share that video with the gift cards. Okay, give me a few days. It can't be instantly. Give me a few days. But let's pick the mothers from the chat. Okay, when I say three, two, one, uh, I'm gonna take a photo. Whoever comes to my photo, I'm gonna zoom in. Let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in 8x. This is fun. I'm gonna zoom in 8x. You put your name there. I'm gonna take a picture. We're gonna do it 3 times. Whatever captures in my picture, I'm gonna show it to you, and those are the winners. Okay? Are you guys ready? When I say three, two, one, you guys put your name. You guys put your name, and I'm gonna take a picture on 8x. Okay, and see who will be captured in that. I have to zoom enough, so I only take one person. That's cool. Okay, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, okay, guys. It was funny. It was cool. Okay, I did that. So here, the first person that came up is Sanam Dabirian, right? That's the first person that was in my picture. The second person, actually, let's do the second time. Okay, let's do the second time because I did 3 times, but now I'm thinking I have to be fair. I have to do it again. Okay, ready? One, no, actually, three, two, one. Let's go. One, two, three. Okay. We got Helena. Helena Hassan. Perfect. Let's do another time, the last time. Okay, guys? Three, two, one. Let's go. Okay. This is Toktam Maki. Toktam Maki. Okay, this was a very good creative idea because now I have it on my phone. I just go to Starbucks and I take it for these names. So Toktam Maki, Helena Hassangoli, and Sanam Dabirian, congratulations to you. Great job. I'm gonna go to Starbucks, buy you gift card, and send it to your email or DM to you whenever I get to. But give me 3 to 4 days, guys, because I want to document it. I want to record a video when I do this. And yeah, once you have your Starbucks, drink, work hard, get to that 100K jobs because that is something we're building together. This community is something that we're building together. It's all about people. It's not about me. It's about all of us, right? Bring your friends, introduce us to others. My main goal is to reach 10,000 people now. We are at 5,000. We want to reach 10,000 and then go more. And the only reason I have Mastermind is so I can give more attention to people, right? And also get the funding to support my advertising budget to increase the number of people that we can bring to free community, because I do believe if you're jobless, you don't have to pay, right? If you're jobless, you need to have, and in this community, in the free zone, you have all the tools and knowledge and insiders to get that job. You have that. But if you're a certain level, if you're making money, okay, whatever you do, general job, you do Uber, you do whatever you do, you to make money, you need to be able to make money to join mastermind. Okay, it's not for jobless. You need to be at certain level to join mastermind. But if you're at those level, please book a call on Alex Coaching. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can help you. Okay. And thank you again for time and being here. Give me a thumbs up if this session helped your mindset about resumes. I hope we covered enough. It's more than 1 hour. It's 1 hour 30 minutes. I hope it helped you a lot, because I didn't want to get into the nitty gritty of the things that other people talk about, like the keyword change. First is the mindset. We do cover all of the details in Mastermind. And I'm going to do more workshop for you. So don't think that if you cannot come to Mastermind, it's over. No, we're going to do more workshop for you. If you cannot afford Mastermind, there's always a way for you. Mastermind is only an investment to get 100K. So you think that you're ready to get 100K in 2 months and you just need more support and more coaching? Okay, let's do it. You invest, you get that 100K. Everybody who came to Mastermind went through the same process. It's not something that we want all of you there. We want all of you in free community. We want all of you to bring your friends to free community, and we want to have a great and have time together here. Okay? Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. We'll talk soon. And once I have those Starbucks, I'm going to make a post in the community and tag those people who won. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.